Hi, good evening.
So I'll start out with a question or two, and then we can open up to the audience. I mean, many of your films are quite autobiographical in a way, and this one, I think, very much so. What made you want to go back to this point in your life at this right now?
Um, I guess the main thing that made me want to go back to this period that I mean, like it took place around 17, 18 years ago. Uh, and maybe what also enabled me to make the movie was the fact that the things weren't solved. I mean, that it remained vibrant for me in a way. Ah, sorry. Now it's better? Cool. So that it remained vibrant. It remained. I mean, maybe with the time that passed, I could get a certain perspective and certain. I could analyze things. I could try to find explanations, but the tension that brought about all you've seen on the screen, the same pulsion that made me 17, 18 years ago, 1 year after the end of my military service, made me take a flight to Charles de Gaulle without having any concrete plan, but with the determined desire to live and live my life and be buried in Paris and never go back to Israel. So the same pulsion still existed, the same vibration, and this is what enabled I think the movie to not to be an historical movie, not to be a movie about something that ended, not to be just a description of the past, but to be something that is still vivid and evaluating and happening right now. I think that you can feel. I hope that you can feel the weight of this actual moment in the present in this movie.
And did making a film in France change your? How did that change your relationship with France?
I mean, it was kind of, in a way, I felt I how would I say it, privileged, because I went. It's like you go back to the same places where everything happened, but this time you're accompanied with behind your back there are around, I don't know, 50, 60 members of a team crew, and suddenly you're well accompanied. I mean, I felt as if I'm walking in the same streets where like, I don't know, 16, 17 years ago I was walking there, mumbling synonyms in French, and I felt completely transparent. I think that I was completely transparent. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that. I mean, it's not like it wasn't so tragic or something, but I don't think that I had any. I felt completely detached and so suddenly it was exploring it again with this, protected by the fabrication of the movie, protected by the artistic distance. I don't know. I mean, in a certain way, I would love to be able to go back to such a, intense event of my life some years later, followed by DP, assistant DP. Yeah.
Okay, maybe we can open up to the audience now. If you just raise your hand, and
I have a question. You see in some of your movies, like Kindergarten Teacher and this one, there's the question of identity and looking for a sense of purpose, and whether that identity is found in someone else, or whether that purpose is found in a nation or a nationality. So I wanted you to touch on this idea of identity and purpose, and how you try to find it and where you find it.
sorry, did everyone hear that? The question was about the idea of identity and purpose within the film.
Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe even in a more primordial and basic level in my movies, the main characters reject sometimes the idea that they should have an identity, or that they should have one identity, or that they should be limited to their identity. I mean, I think in Synonyms, the main character in a way is fighting against. I mean, it's clear he's fighting against his own identity, fighting against himself. It's a little bit. I always feel that it's a little bit like in a horror movie. He feels that the devil is inside him, that the demon is inside him, and he should detach himself from his own body, from his own language. So I think maybe the first question is I mean, and then it can become really naive, It then can become kind of, I don't know, these hippie messages. Why should we have identities? Why can we be citizen of the world, etc., etc., etc. Why not? But I feel that in a way, the thing about the maybe my movies in general, but specifically this movie, that I mean, having an identity confront you with endless contradictions, but at the same time, it's not clear that saving yourself from this cage is a real redemption, and it's not clear that it's really possible. I don't know. I think that I like definitions. I'm always obsessed with trying to define things. Whenever I get to a social event, I ask people, who are these people? How would you define them? I try to. So maybe it's related. I never thought about it. Maybe it's. I'll figure it out.
Can I right up here?
Could you tell me something about the actor, Tom Mercier, and how did you find him? Was he always going to be your first choice to play Yoav's part in the song before?
Oh, sorry. And just the question was, how did he find the lead actor, Tom Mercier?
I'd also like to know something about him.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I think that when since the movie is based on my own experience and at least part of the scenes, or maybe the majority of scenes really took place. So naturally, when I wrote the script, I imagined myself in all this situation. I imagined myself walking in the streets of Paris. I imagined myself in this small apartment, etc., etc. And when I moved to casting, I at the beginning I was in a kind of melancholic mood, because I felt that in order to get to dig inside the truth of the movie, I should have casted myself. So first I was melancholic because I'm a very bad actor, but also I was melancholic because this myself doesn't exist anymore, because it's myself 15, 16 years ago. It doesn't exist anymore. And I told myself, what would I do? I felt that each actor will bring something fake inside it. Till I met Tom Mercier in a completely regular and ordinary casting, but this was the only ordinary thing about it. And the moment I saw him for the first time, I totally forgot about myself, because I felt that he was like a better version of myself. He was an improved version of myself, a little bit like, I think that in a way the movie is an improved version of what really happened. It was his first, actually I think it was the first time he was on set. It was his first role in cinema. He was a student in a theater school, but before he was the Israeli youth champion of judo, and they predicted that he is going to have a brilliant brilliant career. He was supposed to bring to win gold medals in all sorts of Olympic games, etc., etc. And from one day he abandoned the judo just like that, and he became a dancer. And I think that all of this exists in a way in his character because in real life he has this mixture between fragility and tenderness, and he's extremely nice and extremely polite and something very sweet and tender, and at the same time something very violent, a lot of violence, a lot of rage, and you feel that it can explode in every moment. Although again, he's one of the nicest person I've met. And another thing that I can tell about him is that he has also this I don't know if it's a contradiction, but he has this mixture again between, like, he is I've never seen someone who works so hard and he reads the script 10 times a day, and I don't know, if you fix a rehearsal in 9 a.m. he'll be there already in 8:15, and he'll never complain. He's marvelous, and at the same time, or maybe it's not the same time, I've never seen someone who is so free, meaning that he doesn't have limits at all. I mean, he doesn't know that limits exist. I mean, in his world, it's like someone who has. I always felt that it's like, well, you saw him. He has this enormous physical capacity. I mean, like, you feel that you have Superman on set. I mean, you can tell him to, I don't know, make a tour around Paris, reciting 10,000 synonyms, and he'll do it just like this, 15 times. So he can do whatever he wants. And he's like someone who has like enormous capacity and feel free to use every part of his body all the time. And he doesn't, I mean, for instance, I'll try to clarify. For instance, when in the Berlinale, in the first, we've done some interviews together, and of course he was always asked about the nude scene and the nudity scene and how he felt, and he would always like look at the journalist a little bit amazed, without totally understand what do they want, because I felt that he could have also done the interview naked. I mean, and for him really. He's not like these, like these total actors that decide. He doesn't recognize the existence of limits. So it's, yeah, I think it's pretty unique.
I think we have time for one more.
Wanted to make a comment that you have captured very well the way we some Israelis feel anywhere in the world, no matter how long we live and how well we master the language, we'll always come back to that belonging Israel. תמיד חוזרים לקום מחצבתנו.
That was tough to repeat. It was more of a comment, I think.
Yeah. Thanks. I mean, thanks a lot. I mean, truly, I believe that. I mean, the film is about Israel and France, etc., and maybe there are specific things to Israel and France. But I can say that since the Berlinale, the film was traveling a lot, and I was following the film sometimes, and it was a little bit all over. And for me, it's great in a way to see to which extent it's. Well, it sounds very kitsch what I'm saying, very, very banal, but it's really I feel that it's talking to. I don't like to use this word universal, which became impossible, but it's really talking to a lot of audiences all over the world, and I think that maybe it's because beyond. I feel that beyond talking about specific political cases or political circumstances or specific national identities. I think for me it's going to maybe more basic level and dimensions. I think like that maybe it's a film about movement, about being restless, about I feel that, for instance, this guy, for me, he's a real fighter, but he's a real fighter because he's all the time fighting against this actual moment. He's all the time in an endless existential fight with the moment. He's never. If you want him to be outside, he'll be inside. If you want him to be, if you want him to whisper, he will shout, and if you want him to keep quiet, he will dance. And that's why I think, in a way, it's not surprising that he ends the movie bumping against the closed door, because in a way, I think that this is the total confrontation between mobility and immobility, something like this.
Okay, unfortunately, we're out of time, but I'd like to thank Nadav for joining us. And I encourage everyone, the film is opening here in October, so please tell people you know to come see it.
Thanks.